Subscribe, hype, like, click the notification bell and turn on all notifications. And donate with a super thanks donation in the comments section below for the unfiltered, unapologetic SeanzViewEnt, your home for WWE news, rumors, and backstage chaos. This is where gossip gets exposed around the clock. Now, here's your host, the brash SeanzViewEnt.
For those of you that have hoped, that have prayed, that have demanded, for those of you that want Raw back on the USA Network with no issues, no problems, no other money being spent, extra, read all about it. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of story that sounds impossible until the paperwork starts moving in. Vince McMahon may be back in the middle of some WWE chaos, according to gossip and speculation online. Not through a backstage appearance, not through a surprise promo, not through some nostalgia segment. This is a boardroom bombshell of epic proportions as concerns the future of the red brand Raw, which has seen some pretty dramatic viewership go down the damn toilet. Viewership down, ratings down, ticket buys down. The rumor at this time, remember, for more videos like this, click the bell, subscribe. The rumor is that Vince McMahon has allegedly moved in and is thinking about buying WWE RAW away from Netflix in what is being described as a shocking corporate power play. And if this rumor is even close to true, this is not just another WWE speculative report. This could be a full-scale fight over the future of Monday Night Raw. Netflix thought it had WWE's flagship show. TKO thought they had full control of the new era. Triple H thought he was leading the WWE forward. But now Vince McMahon may be trying to force his way back into the center of his empire. Because without Vince McMahon, without the USA Network, there is no Monday Night Raw. There is no red brand. But this fallout, ladies and gentlemen, this fallout could be absolutely massive. Now, let's be clear. I want to set the stage for the viewers, the fans, the subscribers of this here very video. WWE has not officially confirmed that Vince McMahon bought Raw back from Netflix. Netflix has not officially announced any sale, and TKO has not confirmed the hostile takeover, and nothing is official unless it comes from WWE, TKO, Netflix, Vince McMahon, or direct legal filings. But this insider report making the rounds is explosive. The claim is that Vince McMahon is not just watching the Raw on Netflix situation from the sidelines. He is allegedly looking at the chaos and seeing an opening. And if there is one thing Vince McMahon has always understood, it is power. When WWE looks unstable, Vince moves. When corporate people hesitate, Vince attacks. When everyone thinks that he is finished, Vince finds a way to put his name back into the conversation. And according to this dirt sheet style report, the rumor, the innuendo, the guesswork, the speculation online, Vince McMahon could allegedly be working behind the scenes through legal teams, financial backers, and corporate channels to explore a takeover of WWE's Raw's Netflix position. And if there was any time to think that Raw was going to move back to the USA Network, if there was any time to have any hope or shred of hope that Raw will move away from Netflix or at least be simulcast on USA Network and Netflix, this could be that time. The idea is simple, but quite frankly, it is dangerous. Raw on Netflix was supposed to be WWE's future. But if the deal is surrounded by ratings concerns, fan complaints, streaming criticism, and questions about whether Raw has lost its Monday night identity, then Vince McMahon can use that as ammunition. He can say that the Netflix experiment damaged Raw. He can say that TKO moved too fast. He can say that Triple H failed to keep the product hot. He can say that Raw belongs onto a bigger, more traditional wrestling platform that was once grandfathered in to the USA Network. And more importantly, Vince can say he is the only man who knows how to fix it. That is the power play, not just buying a show, buying leverage, buying influence, buying his way back into the WWE conversation. Because, you think that Vince McMahon was just going to go off to the sunset, and you thought Vince McMahon was just going to sleep on this, and that was going to be the end of all, that you would never hear or see of Vince McMahon on WWE television ever again. You think that was it? Oh, Vince retired. He announced his retirement several years ago, and then he got into all this trouble, and the courts, and the drama, and this, and that, and the other, the NDAs, the SPAs, the PPCs, the NBCs, the AAAs, whatever it may be. But inside TKO, this would be a nightmare. Because TKO's entire WWE strategy is built around control, corporate control, media control, brand control, global expansion. Netflix was supposed to prove that WWE could dominate streaming the way it dominated cable. But if Vince McMahon could be attached to the reports of buying Raw back from Netflix, again, Vince McMahon buying Raw from Netflix, it makes the whole structure look unstable. Suddenly, the story is not about WWE's future. It is about WWE's past trying to reclaim the future. And that, ladies and gentlemen, creates chaos. TKO has to answer questions. Netflix has to protect its deal. Triple H has to defend creative. Nick Khan has to manage the business fallout. And WWE talent are left wondering who is actually in control. That is why this report is so dangerous. It does not even need to be fully complete to cause damage. The rumor alone creates pressure. Triple H may be the person caught in the worst position, because if Raw on Netflix is being criticized, Triple H takes creative heat. If backstage frustration is growing, Triple H takes leadership heat. If TKO feels pressure from Netflix, Triple H becomes part of the corporate conversation. And now, if Vince McMahon is allegedly trying to buy Raw back from Netflix on Monday nights, Triple H suddenly has a much bigger problem on his hands. Now, again, where do you want to see Raw? Do you want to see it simulcast? Do you see it exclusively on the USA Network? Or do you think it should stay on Netflix? Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, your emotions on all of that. Triple H represents the new WWE, so this has become personal. Vince represents the old empire. Triple H represents the long-term creative. Vince represents the shock, control, and chaos. Triple H is trying to prove WWE can move forward. Vince, in this issue, in this storyline, is trying to prove WWE still needs him. And that is what makes this feel like a corporate war. Not just WWE versus Netflix. Not just TKO versus fan backlash. This becomes Vince McMahon versus the system that moved on without him. Netflix is in a difficult spot because Netflix did not sign up to become a part of a wrestling power struggle. A global weekly property. Netflix wanted WWE RAW as premium live content, a major sports entertainment attraction. But if Raw becomes surrounded by takeover rumors, ratings panic, and Vince McMahon drama, Netflix has to decide how much chaos it wants attached to their brand. Does Netflix fight to keep Raw? Does Netflix demand stronger guarantees from TKO? Does Netflix want distance from the controversy? Or does Netflix suddenly become the target of Vince McMahon's biggest corporate strike? That is the part that fans are watching, because if Netflix looks weak, Vince wins the narrative. If TKO looks unprepared, Vince wins the narrative. If Triple H looks under pressure, Vince wins that narrative. And if fans start believing Raw was better than Netflix, or Raw was better before Netflix on USA, Vince wins that narrative once again. The big question is this, viewers, fans, and subscribers. Is Vince McMahon really trying to buy WWE Raw back from Netflix? Or is this just a pressure campaign, potentially, maybe, perhaps? Because sometimes in corporate warfare, the goal is not always to complete the buyout. Sometimes the goal is to create fear, create doubt, create leverage, force meetings, force negotiations, force the people in charge to acknowledge that you still have power. And that may be what Vince McMahon could be doing here. If he cannot fully own WWE again, he may still be able to disrupt the WWE. If he cannot run the company, he may still be able to shake the company. If he cannot sit in the chair, he may still be able to threaten the person sitting in it. And that is why this story is so explosive. Vince McMahon does not need to be officially back in WWE to create chaos. His name alone does that. So now WWE may be facing one of its wildest corporate storylines imaginable. Raw on Netflix under pressure. TKO trying to stabilize the ship. Triple H defending his era, Netflix watching the backlash, and Vince McMahon allegedly circling the entire situation like a shark that smells blood. If Vince really buys Raw back or buys Raw away from Netflix, it changes everything. It could damage TKO's authority. It could embarrass Netflix. It could put Triple H under even more pressure. It could reopen the door to Vince McMahon's influence, and it could turn Monday Night Raw into the center of the biggest power struggle in modern WWE history. This is not just about television rights. This is about control. Who controls Raw? Who controls WWE's future? Who controls the money? Who controls the narrative? And who gets to have their say to own the empire? Who gets to say at the end of the day? Could this be decided in a match at SummerSlam? Perhaps the Survivor Series, maybe War Games. Now I want to hear from you, the viewers, the fans, the subscribers that make this show what it is. Do you believe that Vince McMahon could actually buy WWE Raw away from Netflix? Would TKO ever allow Vince back near control? Is Triple H in danger if the Netflix situation keeps getting worse? And would Raw be better off away from Netflix and returning to the USA Network? Drop your thoughts in the comment section right now. Subscribe for more WWE news, rumors, backstage speculation, and corporate wrestling drama. Because if Vince McMahon, ladies and gentlemen, if indeed Vince McMahon is really making a move for Raw, this is not just a comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those situations that is completely a takeover. Speaking about takeover, SmackDown was not taken over by fans in attendance at the double SmackDown tapings, because as we all know, the WWE right now are out of the States. They're in another country. They're in another continent. And I'll tell you what, from the pictures I saw online, the SmackDown double taping did not look too good, or it was SmackDown and Raw taped together, something like that. It does not look good for the fate in the future of SmackDown. Raw in trouble. Everything's up in the air. Jockeying for position. This is all at the helm of WWE. And I'll be honest with you, the rumors and the gossip and the speculation backstage in WWE is actually more compelling. It is more entertaining than what we're getting on WWE TV right now, viewers, fans, and subscribers. I'm going to let you know that right now. That's just the feeling. That is the aura that I am getting. Thekla addresses Clark Carnett dating rumors while the culling implodes with unexpected attack during NXT. And I want your thoughts. I want your review of NXT last night. Were you for it? Were you against it? Was it cloudy? Was it sunny? Was it dreary? Also, Tony D'Angelo carted off in an ambulance after parking lot fireball attack during a backstage segment on NXT last night. How is it that NXT storylines and angles, how is it that those are actually more entertaining, more compelling than what we're getting on Raw and SmackDown? Why can that not boil over to Raw and SmackDown? Why are we getting better storylines and situations and fallouts on NXT? Why is NXT a better show than the main roster? Why? Enzo Amore, the rumors and the gossip have been online. The headlines have been online. Enzo Amore addresses possible Big Cass reunion in the WWE. Enzo Amore says nobody wanted to talk to him when he got to WWE. Powerlifting champ Emily reveals why she turned down WWE contract. Orange Cassidy claims he has no 5-year plan. Also, Becky Lynch returns to Irish wrestling roots during WWE's tour. NWA Power lands new streaming deal with Tubi. T-U-B-I, ladies and gentlemen. NWA Power has a new home, and Billy Corgan is making it clear that the company sees this as a big step forward. What is going to be of NWA? Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions on that. Tommy Dreamer says TNA exit will change everything after decades behind the scenes. Jeff Jarrett questions why TNA's parent company would give WWE a buyout clause. Also, viewers, fans, and subscribers, Shane McMahon wanted to buy ECW before Vince McMahon chose a very different path for the brand. Also, Paul Heyman says Triple H is better at running WWE now than he was during his Hall of Fame speech. Paul Heyman didn't just say Triple H is the right person to head WWE's content machine. He said Levesque has gotten even better at what he is doing. That may be, some agree, some disagree, some may be for it, some may be against it. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman said it. Plenty more to come from the Brash to the Briz. We keep you in the know on the hottest, the latest, the greatest, and newest, because I said so. Plenty more to come. Subscribe.